What's up, everyone? Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. Thank you for tuning in to the Man Cave Sports Talk, where you get real talk, real sports, no agendas, just passion. I'm your boy, the Sactown Packhound, with my co-host, Tim, the Packer Hill. And without further ado, let's go! All right, so I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Before we get into this, I'm just going to introduce myself and my co-host, kind of tell you a little bit about us, and then we'll get into what we're going to be talking about. So when I was starting this, I was going over who I wanted to be my co-host. Had a few people in mind, but Tim and I here have known each other for 25 years, 20 years, something like that.
Long time.
Yeah, I think we met actually playing rec league basketball. And then we started playing in a men's league, which we played together on for like 20 years.
And you still don't pass the ball.
Still don't pass the ball. And what's funny is I thought, who could I have a good back and forth with? And let me tell you, in the 20 years that we played in the men's league, this is no joke. I think every game we've ever played, either him and I got a technical. And I think there was a lot of games where the refs will come up to us before the game started and they would say, do you guys want your tech now or do you want to wait till the game started? So I thought, who else to, go back and forth with? He's a Packer fan. I'm a Raiders fan. So we're always going at it anyway. We've been playing fantasy football together for about a decade. So I thought, why not have this guy on and let's yell at each other?
There's nothing like yelling at you, man.
Hey, not like it. All right, so a lot of stuff to touch on. What we're going to start with, what the main focus of this episode is going to be, obviously, is the NFL. There's a lot of stuff going on. So right now we're going to have an open discussion about the divisional round playoffs. We're going to start with the Ravens and the Texans. So how good is Lamar Jackson? Is he the clear-cut favorite for MVP?
In my world, no. In ESPN's world, yes. My world looks at stats. And Lamar Jackson's stats, let me just break it down to you. I'll give you two people's stats real quick. You tell me who you would take.
All right.
67% completions, 3,600 yards, 24 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Rating at 102.7, QBR 64.7.
Okay.
Versus 70% completions, 31 touchdowns, 4,280 yards, both top 5, both teams number 1 seed in their conference, 113 rating. Who would you rather have?
What stat did you leave out, though? How many rushing yards and touchdowns do they have? Because that is a major factor.
I completely agree.
It's a major factor.
For defenses, it's a major factor. For MVP discussions,
it's the most valuable player on your team. To have a quarterback that runs like that, it adds a whole nother dimension that a team has to game plan for, that, as we saw in the Ravens and Texans game, that's what made the difference in the game.
Correct, because they didn't spy him, which they should have done. The first week they played him, which they didn't, and the very last week they played him, they didn't learn anything. Rookie head coach, rookie quarterback withstanding, he's your rookie of the year.
Absolutely.
But you have got to spy a running quarterback, especially when he's run first, pass second. I know the narrative is he's getting better with the passing, which stats do say that, but he's still run first, pass second.
Well, the problem with that is, if you're going to spy on him, who you got to have spy on him? A linebacker?
You got to add a safety or something. You got to
have a safety, then you're leaving it open for Zay Flowers. You're leaving it open for Odell Beckham. You're leaving it open for Mark Andrews, who's not even there yet, right? I think it's easy to say that you have to spy on him, but I think doing it, especially with someone, look at Josh Allen as a comparison, correct? He runs not as good, but he runs also.
Correct.
I would say it's a lot easier to spy on Josh Allen than it is for Lamar Jackson. Yeah. I think with Lamar Jackson, in my mind, he is the clear-cut favorite because he adds such a dimension. If you look at the Texans, they dismantled the Browns. And the Browns, for most of the year, were considered one of the top 2 or 3 defenses in the league. And the Texans made them look mediocre.
But it helps to have short fields because Flacco's throwing it to the other team.
Absolutely. He got 2, touchdowns off of that. But Stroud also had 3 touchdowns and no picks against the Browns. He was carving them up. Against the Ravens, he had 0 touchdowns. The only touchdowns that they had was a special teams touchdown.
Yeah. He couldn't go over the top of them.
Right. And so it's going to help Lamar Jackson's cause with his defense, because on top of being able to run, their defense is probably right now top 5, right? Would you agree with that?
The Texans or Ravens?
Ravens.
Ravens are the top defense in the
Yeah.
league.
Okay. So they're going to be every year top 5 defense. So now you don't have to put up 30 points a game. You put up 21 points a game, you're going to win the majority of your games.
Correct.
Right? And when you have someone like him, I just think it's almost impossible to game plan, especially when Mark Andrews comes back, to completely stop that team. Because if you put either a safety or a linebacker to spy on him, you're going to open up the middle of that field. And now Mark Andrews is just going to eat you alive. Or you're going to have Odell old-ass Beckham catching these little slant routes, you know what I'm saying? And it's just going to be a nonstop first down every time down the field, I think.
Yeah, I don't put a lot of stock into the Ravens receivers.
Yeah.
Zay Flowers is a rookie. He had a pretty decent year. Mm-hmm. Odell's past his prime.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Rashad Bateman has yet to find himself in that offense.
No.
And it's all Mark Andrews.
Yeah.
And the fact that their running backs just can't stay on the field.
No.
None of them can. And they've gone out and gotten Dalvin Cook.
If I was a free agent, I would stay out of the Baltimore. I would know for a fact if you're a running back, you're going to get hurt.
Yeah.
That's why in fantasy, I pick up the third stringer because I know by the 4th or 5th game, they're going to be getting in.
I picked up Gus Edwards like week 5.
That's it. Now, the Texans, I think, overachieved this year. Okay.
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt. They need a running back. They rushed, where was their stats at? They rushed, which was completely on the offensive coordinator. They rushed 14 times the entire game for a total of 38 yards.
Singletary is not a starting back.
They're one-dimensional.
Yeah.
But even if you're not having success, you can't just completely go away from it, especially with a defense like Baltimore. Your wide receivers on the Texans are too good. And Tank Dell's not even there. When Tank Dell comes back next year, that's going to be nasty. With Nico Collins, Tank Dell, I mean, they're going to be nasty.
Where did Dameon Pierce go? How did he get on the shit list?
I don't understand, because I like Pierce. I think he's a really good back. He's definitely better than Singletary.
How did he get...
Definitely. He didn't even get a touch.
No. How did he get relegated to special teams?
I don't understand. In my opinion, for the Texans to get to that next level, they need a couple more pieces on D, but they definitely need a better running back. They have to get a better running back because they got the quarterback of the future, obviously.
Yeah, no, Stroud was, for my hatred towards Ohio State quarterbacks, which is known to all of my full circle, knows how much I hate Ohio State quarterbacks because they all suck. Okay? They just suck. For him to come out and prove me wrong, I was shocked.
I didn't think he was going to have the year that he had.
No, I thought he was just going to be another piece of crap Ohio State quarterback that will be out of the league in 3 years.
How much of the Panthers kicked themselves in the ass?
We'll see what, yeah. Well, the Panthers, what they've done to Bryce Young is just atrocious.
Atrocious.
So
we'll be touching on that a little bit later in the coaching carousel.
I feel sorry for Bryce Young.
I do.
But I will tell you, all of the Anthony Richardson fans out there, I am a huge Florida Gator fan. You know that. Mm-hmm. Okay. I watched this idiot throw all over the place for a year and a half. And how he was the 4th pick in the draft and hyped up as much as he was is beyond me.
Well, I got to say, I think before he got injured, I think his stats were comparable, if not better, with CJ Stroud with much less options. At the time, Taylor was not playing, and if he was, it was very sparingly. Who is he fucking, throwing to? Besides Michael Pittman, you got Alec Pierce. That's your number 2.
Yeah, and Josh Downs.
A 5'10" white dude. It's not the Patriots, and he's not Tom Brady.
Don't knock white dudes. Jordy Nelson was a hell of a receiver.
He was a good possession receiver with the Hall of Fame quarterback.
Jordy Nelson. That guy can get over the top of you because he could run.
He could. All right, on to the next game. I'll let you lead this one off because I'll let you go on your little fucking rampage. Packers, Niners, what happened?
Well, Jordan Love thought he was Brett Favre in the fourth quarter. Throw it to the other team. Bad decision making. But the issue with the Packers is their fourth quarter with LaFleur. He has got a great game planned for 3 quarters. And when it gets into the fourth quarter, something happens, something clicks, something moves, and he just gets outcoached. The play calling is suspect. I've been on our defensive coordinator for 2 years, and his ass still should be fired. Joe Barry, you're fired. Just go away, bring in somebody with a better game plan with the pieces we have, which we have very strong pieces on defense.
Yep.
As the year went on, we were able to stop the run. Okay, we shut down McCaffrey for the most part. Darnell Savage, from having a great game against Dallas to literally causing all of the problems against San Francisco. He allowed Kittle over the top. He had a pick 6 in his hands that he dropped.
Yeah, there was a few of those in that game.
And then he whiffs a tackle on Christian McCaffrey's 39-yard touchdown run.
Yeah.
If that dude can make a play, we're set. Savage, gone. Defensive coordinator, gone. But I will say the Packers did take a shaft on the 4th and 1 at the 12-yard line of San Francisco in the first quarter to go up at least double digits. 4th and 1, there is a pick on my phone, which I'll show you later. Half of the defense was offsides on the 4th and 1. And how is that allowed in such a game to where you can literally be across the ball with 2 line judges right at the ball and both miss it or both not care?
Yeah.
So I'm still steaming on that one. I'm steaming on the fact that Jordan Love played so well for so long, at least the back half of this year, to then revert back to the first half of this year just sucks.
So I'm going to say I put this solely on the floor, and I will tell you why. Your number 1 receiver had 1 reception all game.
Well, see, that's the thing is we don't really necessarily have a number 1 receiver.
Christian Watson is your number 1 receiver.
I think our number 1 receiver
Peter Reed?
No, is Dobbs.
I think that with the playmaking ability and his size and what he's shown, for Christian Watson to get the ball one time is crazy. You have to get the ball in your playmaker's hands, especially why you weren't trying to go deeper more. I understand they got a good defense, but the past few games, they're susceptible to the run, which Aaron Jones, improved. Aaron Jones had, what he had? He had 18 carries for 108 yards.
Well, yeah, for him. 53 was off one carry.
Right.
So he's got 17 carries for 55.
Right. But that's what continuously running does. That's what the Texans did not do.
Correct.
When you continuously run, you're going to get those, saying?
He should have got the ball more in the fourth quarter.
Absolutely. However, why you don't take more shots downfield with a player like Watson who has the size that he does, you have to try that. And Love has to be more efficient. When you go 21 for 34 for $194, and 2 picks, that's not going to do it. That last interception was one of his worst reads all year.
Oh, that
going into double coverage across your body.
There were 3
going across the field to a diving wide receiver. That was atrocious. I do think that Jordan Love ascended throughout the year a lot. I think at the beginning of the year, I thought he was ass. I thought he was doing real bad.
I wanted him gone. He was straight trash. He was what I thought he was.
I was just not happy with him. But as the year progressed, he ended up being, I think, if I'm not mistaken, number 2 overall in the league at touchdowns. He was going off at the end, of the year.
Oh, he did. He was the best rated passer in the league the last 7 weeks.
Yep. So after that game, do you think the Niners are clear-cut to win the Super Bowl?
Yes, because Dan Campbell won't get out of Dan Campbell's way.
All right, so
they are going to... I believe that the Detroit Lions are going to implode. And if they don't implode, they're going to get behind and be 10 times worse than Riverboat Ron. So, I mean, they've gone for it the most in the league on fourth down to date now. It will only get worse.
The Chargers of the last 2 years.
Yeah, it will only get worse if they get behind in this game, which I foresee to happen.
We'll get into that during our locks. Let's move on to the next game, the Lions and Bucks. Although the next game I think was very entertaining, I think the Lions and Bucks was probably the most entertaining game of the weekend. I was happy that the Lions won. I was happy for the city of Detroit. I do feel bad for Baker Mayfield. I think that a lot of people don't like Baker because of his attitude. That's why I do like him. I think he's very much a screw you, and if you don't like it, oh well. He's the only walk-on in the history to win a Heisman. He's been bounced around. He was supposed to be the savior in Cleveland. They gave him nothing. Sent him to Carolina, literally had him playing like tight end on the freaking practice squad. He goes to the Rams, plays one game, beats us, but then goes to the Bucks and is following up Tom Brady. I mean, I don't think people understand how difficult that is when the expectations coming off of, Brady, when you have the weapons that you have are. And I mean, not only has he fulfilled them, I think he exceeded what anybody thought he could do.
They were supposed to win 5 or 6 games this year.
Yeah.
He definitely exceeded.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he threw for 349 yards, 3 touchdowns. He did have 2 picks. The last one, obviously crucial. But again, I think a lot of this is on the coordinator. Rachaad White is a beast. That dude is a monster. They only ran him 9 times the whole game. 9 times for 55 yards, which doesn't sound like a lot. That's a 6-yard average. Why are you not running him 15 to 20 times a game and getting that play action with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin down the field? I don't understand what you're doing when you're having Baker throw it 41 times and you know that the Lions have a quick score capability. Keep them off the field. Run it down their freaking throat.
Yeah, their issue was the second half of that game.
Mm-hmm.
They got behind quickly in the third quarter, and then they were playing catch-up.
Yeah.
And Rachaad White was a good back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sold on what he can do going forward with this team. I still think they need depth at running back because behind him is nothing.
Right.
They had the guy from Arizona came over. Damn, I can't remember his name. And so that's how bad he is. So he was backing up Rachaad White. And I know he got a bunch of carries because Chase Edmonds.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's their third down back. So if you're behind, he's going to be in the game more for passing opportunities. But what Baker had, what he has on offense, Tom Brady had the same thing.
Right.
He's missing Scotty Miller. But they brought in Trey Palmer.
Right.
Well, speed for speed.
He had Leonard Fournette, which I think is at that time, Fournette was a beast.
Yeah.
Fournette was a beast. I think the biggest mistake of that game by far was when they were down 14 and they scored that touchdown and he went for that 2-point. Why go for a 2-point conversion? That puts so much, in my opinion, so much unnecessary pressure on them because you miss it like you do.
Here's your house.
Now you have to not only score, but now you have to get the 2-point, but you have to score quick enough in your mind to know that if I don't get the 2-point, now I got to be able to get the ball back to get a field goal. Instead of just kicking the extra point, only being down 7. If you want to win the game at the end, okay, win it at the end. But make sure that you can. You went for 2, you missed it, and now you put it in everybody's head like, now we're kind of screwed. Now we
not really. They're still down 8. See,
right?
With this whole analytics crap that is all...
Which I hate that.
It is all the rave now. Analytics says to go for it on 4th down most of the time now.
Right. It's like playing a game of Madden.
Correct. So with the analytics, if you go for 2 and you don't get it, you still have one more attempt to go for 2 to tie the game.
Right.
Field goals are not... field
goals are important, as the Packers found out with Carlson.
Okay. Yeah. Anders Carlson, you're fired too. Okay. Get the off my team. Pushing it back to the 33-yard field goal, it's not necessarily a given. Mm-hmm. So going for 2 there and getting down 6, kicking a field goal to win now makes more sense when you're down by 14 points.
See, I disagree because, like I said, now they miss it like they did. Now they're down 8. Yes, they can get another touchdown and get a 2-point conversion. But now, offensively, when you get the ball back, you have to score much quicker than you normally would in case you miss that 2-point conversion, because now you have to make it.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Whereas if you kick that extra point, now you're down 7. It's still the same scenario. You have to score a touchdown either way. Now you score a touchdown. Now you could literally take that clock to the end of, you know what I'm saying, the game. It extends the plays that you can call. And now if you want to win it with 3 or 4 seconds on the clock, you can. Now it's a decision that you got to make. Whereas if they do like they did and they miss, now the head coach has to be, you know what I'm saying, thinking, we both coach, you think ahead of time. You have to, you know what I'm saying, think, I got to leave enough time on the clock. I got to have at least a minute and a half to where they could get the ball, we stop them and get the ball back in case we miss that 2-point conversion. Now we're still going to be down and we have to get the ball back and able to kick a field goal to win it. Yeah. I just think that was a bad call. I think it put unnecessary pressure on them. I think it forced Baker to force the ball when he didn't have to, because up until then, he was playing exceptionally well.
Yeah. No, I can see your point, but I'm more of a numbers guy. So I get a chance to take the 2 now and then kick a 1-pointer to win over. Okay, if I take a 1 now, then I could possibly make the decision. Okay, do I just take the 1 to go into overtime? Is my defense good enough to hold up?
Right.
Do I go for 2 now and try to take the lead? I guess it all depends on emotions and how the game has progressed to that
game.
Certain point.
Right.
I mean, if I walk down and I just trash your defense on one drive, I want to go for 2 now because you're on your heels. So I just want to stick it to you now.
Yeah.
While I got the chance.
Right.
That would be my mentality. But I mean, head coaches are always looking out for their jobs. So
I mean, if they would have made it, we would have been having a completely different discussion now, and it would have been what a great call, you know. So
it's hindsight's 50-50.
Absolutely, always.
So
all right, Chiefs and Bills. Oh, what is it that continuously stops the Bills from taking that next step, man? Josh Allen ran like a Pro Bowler, passed like he was on a freaking JV squad trying to make the varsity squad. Stephon Diggs has to freaking step up. While Allen was efficient, going 26 of 39, he only had a $186 against a Chiefs team that's been pretty. They've been giving up a lot of big plays. I know because we play them twice a year, and somehow we're right in the game every single, you know what I'm saying, game.
Hey, we beat them on Sunday night.
Yeah. I mean, but Diggs, he had 3 catches for 21 yards.
But I will say with Diggs, there were a lot of times where they panned back to allow the viewer to see the field, and Diggs is running open on crossing routes that's nobody's around him. And Josh Allen is throwing to other guys who are covered.
He Knox, yeah, he. I think he forces it into his tight ends quite a bit. I don't know what happened with Diggs and Allen, because I know before the season even started, there was rumors that they had something going on, and you could kind of tell this year they're not on the same page that they have been in years past. In the years past, you would see him post game and they'd be, you know, talking with each other and hyping each other up. You didn't see that this year at all.
No, but you also got to know that the new offensive coordinator that came in started running the ball a lot more, which took the ball out of Diggs' hands.
Yeah. Well, see, that's something else. They've been running it really good. James Cook's had some really, really good games. Then you get into important games like this, and then it seemed like they were running it as often as they should. There was a lot of just, like I said, 39 attempts. You throw the ball 39 times, and you only go for $186. Everything you're throwing is 5-yard slants, 5-yard outs, button hooks.
Missing Gabe Davis to take the top off the defense,
for sure,
was a big miss.
Well, I mean, he was going for Khalil Shakir way more than he was going for Diggs.
Correct.
It's like he's having Diggs as like his third option now. It's like Kincaid, Khalil, then Diggs.
But I will give Kansas City credit. The back half of their defense can cover. And not only do they cover, but they keep their safeties open to where they can double. And when Diggs went deep, he got doubled most of the time. Right. It was the underneath routes that he wouldn't get the ball to.
Right.
But I think missing Gabe Davis, because that dude just balls out in big games, and I don't know why, because you never see him for a month, and then he shows up. And then he disappears for a month, and he shows back up. It's this time that if you can get all of your pieces in place, he's going to be in a much better way. But I will say this.
The Bills cannot lose at home.
The Bills screwed themselves in 2018. And let me tell you why. Because they traded the number 10 pick to the Kansas City Chiefs. And the Kansas City Chiefs selected Patrick Mahomes.
Here you go. A lot of teams passed on Patrick, saying Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes wasn't even set to be a starter. I think they just got him just to get him because, I mean, at the time, Alex Smith was freaking balling out. If he wouldn't have had a freak injury, Mahomes probably would have never got a shot.
But Kansas City traded up with Buffalo to select Patrick Mahomes. And it's just like all of the other conspiracy theories and black cats and walking under ladders and all of these whatever shit. When something like this happens and it comes back to bite you in the ass, it will continue to bite you in the ass until you figure out how to get over the top. And for them, that was it. And it keeps coming back.
I will say that the Bills did do something right because they got something special in Dalton Kincaid. That dude is...
He's a good tight end.
That dude, I think that Sam Laporta is going to take over Kelsey's spot as the number 1 tight end in the league, but I think Kincaid's right there.
Yeah.
I think it's 1A, 1B.
Well, Kelsey's starting to get older. He's getting a little slower.
He started to drop a lot more balls than he used to, too.
Yeah. I mean, he's been in the 11 years.
Yeah. Yep.
So, I mean, they're going to start missing some pieces here soon if they don't start.
Absolutely.
And that's where Green Bay is in line for a major jump because all of their skill positions, minus Aaron Jones, which hopefully they recontract his ass over the offseason, we have first and second year receivers and tight ends across the board. Yeah. We don't have anybody in the skill position that is over 4 years. And that is pushing A.J. Dillon at 4 years.
Right.
Everybody else is all young and all working and growing together.
Yep.
And that's why they're going to be good as long as they can fix their defense.
A.J. Dillon, I know you into sports cards. We're going to be talking about that. Come on, buddy. Come on the podcast.
I would love to meet you. I would love to chat with you.
All right, so let's go for our locks. We're going to go for the games this weekend, Niners and Lions and Ravens and Chiefs. So I'll start with the Niners and Lions. I'm going to go against the grain, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm going with the Lions this week. I know everyone's going to be on the Niners, you know what I'm saying? They're bang, bang, Niner. I'm so tired of hearing that shit.
If I hear bang, bang, Niner gang, I'm going to
bang, bang somebody. Hey, what I think is going to push the Lions over the top, number one, they just have a momentum right now. They are going into every game with the mindset that they're better. Their head coach is an animal. He's got them believing, and players want to play for him. The Niners have so much more to lose. They're expected to win.
Mm-hmm.
The Lions aren't. If they lose, who cares? They're the freaking Lions.
Right.
But I think that puts so much pressure on the Niners, and how they've played the past couple of games, they're not playing like they're Super Bowl champs. You guys should have won that game.
We should.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say lucky, but they had some things go their way, and missing that field goal, there's just a number of things. But the main thing to me is how susceptible they've been to the run. And with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, I think they're going to kill him with that. Also, I don't think anybody can cover Amon-Ra St. Brown. That dude's an animal. Then you put in Sam Laporta. They have so many weapons. I don't think that the Niners are going to be able to score with them, especially with Debo hurt. Now, they say that he's going to play. They were fearing that he had a fractured shoulder. They said it's not. But still, as a coach, right? Now, it's a different sport. We both coach, you know what I'm saying, basketball. Knowing he has that shoulder injury, you don't think the Lions are going to target that shit? If I'm playing basketball and I know that the main player on the other team has a severely sprained ankle, and they say, no, I'm playing, I'm taping it up, I'm telling my guys to go at him every single time, cross him over, change directions, make him go lateral as often as you can. We're not going to go out there and try to hurt you, but I'm going to make sure that thing is going to give you some problems. And they're going to do that same thing with him. And when you take Debo out of there, they're not the same team. And I think Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery are. I wouldn't be surprised if Gibbs went for 150. I would not be surprised.
Well, I would be surprised if Gibbs went for 150 because they don't give him the damn football. If you gave him the football, he could go for 150 on the offense. But the problem is you got Montgomery in there, and they keep feeding his ass the ball for whatever goddamn reason.
He's near the goal line, though, or like, you know, saying third downs. I think Jahmyr Gibbs, they give him the ball a lot more out of the backfield on screens and stuff. He's just a lot more dynamic player in the open field. But I really think the Niners are going to have problems just with that team in general. They have so many freaking weapons. Plus, I'm just sick of the Niners.
Okay, nobody's more sick of them than me because my team can't beat them in the playoffs. Okay, I'm tired of seeing that shit. I'm tired of hearing about it. All these homers around this area are killing me. Okay, can't deal with them anymore. They got to go. But I have the Niners winning this game and winning this game easily.
Okay.
Dan Campbell's going to get outcoached. Without a doubt in my mind, he is going to blow a gasket and get outcoached. The weather is 72 degrees on Sunday in San Francisco. There is no rain. There is no field issues. There is no slippery balls. Well, I won't even go that reference at all. Brock Purdy will be fine at quarterback. Debo will be playing. They'll be running their offense like they did in the summer. Mm-hmm. Against the Lions defense, who can't defend the pass without holding or with pass interference. So anything over the top that they can get, they will get. Mm-hmm. And then having them mainly stacking boxes against Christian McCaffrey, I just feel like they're just going to get overwhelmed and overwhelmed early with everything that's coming at them, with everything that they're there to do.
I think Hutchinson is going to be on Purdy's ass all game.
I think the offensive line for the Niners will handle Hutchinson without any problems.
I don't think anybody's going to hold him without any problems. That dude's a different breed.
Well, I mean, if you don't block him like the Bucks did, I mean, it's not hard to get to the quarterback if you don't block the guy. I mean, I saw a handful of times he didn't get touched.
Yep.
And it was just, I mean, it's a blocking scheme issue. It wasn't him doing something. I'm just going to shoot right at Baker and I'm going to kick you in the nuts.
I think it's going to be a great game, but I think the weather being how it is, I think that almost favors the Lions. I mean, I think their skill position players, besides McCaffrey, I think the advantage goes towards the Lions.
Yeah. If they were at home, I would choose the Lions. But they're not at home. They're going to have to deal with everything on the road.
I will say, I think the Lions are so excited, I think they're going to travel well. I do think you're going to see a lot of blue in there.
I don't even know if there's that many Lions fans outside of Detroit.
I think they'll come. I really do. They've been waiting for so long. They're so hyped. I would not be surprised to see a lot of blue in that stadium.
Kind of like seeing a lot of red in the Las Vegas stadium when they come down.
Hey, now that it's in freaking Vegas to see everybody, because now you don't have any more. I hate that. We'll get that on another freaking podcast, but that makes me so sick. We don't even have any freaking real fans anymore. Now it's just a freaking entertainment.
Yeah, I got the Niners covering, and I got the Niners covering big.
I say the Lions straight up. All right, Ravens and Chiefs.
Pains me to say that.
Again, I'm probably going to go against the grain here. I'm going with the Ravens. I just think that Lamar is going to eat them up. I think the Chiefs are just overhyped. I really do. I think that in years past, the Chiefs are the Chiefs. The fact that they've won 6 straight divisional playoff games is ridiculous. That's crazy.
Well, the last game was the first time Patrick Mahomes was on the road in a playoff game.
Ever.
So,
but throughout this year, the Chiefs have not looked the same. They have not looked the same. Just the fact that they're not playing a home game right now shows you that. Like we touched on earlier, Kelsey's getting older. He's dropping a lot more passes, and the Ravens defense, the Chiefs haven't played anybody like that yet. They're going to be on Mahomes, and when does Mahomes have the most problems? When he has pressure. He's just so used to being able to sit back there and pick people off. And on top of that, now Marquez Valdez-Scantling had a decent game last game. Before that last game, he was terrible. He was everything in his hands he was dropping. Kelsey's dropping a lot more balls. Other than Rashee Rice, who I really like, I don't see them outplaying the Ravens. On top of the fact, I think Lamar is going to go for over 100 rushing yards against them. I
don't think that will happen.
You don't think so?
No. Kansas City's defense, front seven, is really strong.
They are.
Their back half is really strong.
Uh-huh.
They were, if I'm not mistaken, they were the 3rd best defense in the league. Against, obviously, the Ravens were 1. I think San Francisco was 2.
Well, you got to take into account, too, their division helps that a lot. They're playing against the Broncos, who are ass, the Chargers, who this year are ass, and us, who are ass.
Well, you also got
That's 6 games.
Well, let's look at the Ravens. You played Cincinnati without Burrow.
Mm-hmm.
You played Cleveland
once.
With a dude they pulled off the couch. Mm-hmm. Okay, well, Burrow, when they played him in the second game of the year, he came back from his injury a little too soon, obviously, because he fucked my fantasy.
Flacco was balling, though.
Yeah,
Flacco was balling.
Flacco came off the couch.
But look at... Do you think the Browns' defense was better than the Chiefs' defense?
I think the Browns' defense...
Their front 5 is definitely better.
At times, were better than the Chiefs' defense. But overall, I think the Chiefs' defense was better.
I'll disagree with that. I'd rather play the Chiefs than the Browns.
No.
Yeah.
Not me.
Defense-wise, I'd rather play the Chiefs. Offense, maybe not. But defense-wise, I'd rather play the Browns.
And then the other side of the coin is your offense. And I will always take the better quarterback in the matchup.
Mm-hmm.
And in this case, it is Mahomes.
I got it. Because again, if he was the better quarterback, he'd be the front runner for MVP. He's not even in the conversation.
He's had a difficult season with what has been around him.
Probably the worst season he's had.
Yeah, I do not doubt that. And the fact that he's got to be chewing his receivers out for dropping balls and fumbling balls. And
if it wasn't for Isaiah Pacheco, I don't even know the Chiefs would be in the playoffs.
No? Well...
He carried them a lot.
Yeah, but Patrick Mahomes makes plays.
He does.
And it has yet to be seen, other than one sample against a really young team in Texas, the Houston Texans, Lamar Jackson hasn't showed up in big games. His legacy is kind of on the line here. Mm-hmm. So I think more pressure is on the home team and Lamar Jackson to get over the top.
For sure.
Than it is for Kansas City.
Mm-hmm.
But I also come with the fact that Tom Brady got referee help several times in his run.
So have the Chiefs.
And Patrick Mahomes is the heir apparent to Tom Brady. Mm-hmm. And you see he gets calls. He gets the benefit of the doubt. I don't want to say that the league is corrupt, but yes, the league is corrupt.
League is corrupt.
But Patrick Mahomes will do enough in the end of this game to get him over the top, and they will go to the Super Bowl to face San Francisco. And more than likely, San Francisco will be favored in that game, which will help me make my bets because I will say Kansas City all day.
So we have completely different opinions on this, which will make for a good show next week. So you got the Chiefs facing the Niners in the Super Bowl. I have the Lions facing the Ravens in the Super Bowl.
Which, if that happens, would be one of the worst rated games ever.
I think it'll be amazing. The last thing I want to see is I'm so sick of the same teams. That's why I was so happy that the Patriots were just ass. I'm so tired of seeing the same people there. It's time for the new generation to get in. There always comes a time in all sports when roles reverse, the good become bad, the bad become good. And I think it's teeter-tottering on that, and the Jets are the Jets, and that's never going to change. And I think it's teeter-tottering right now, and I think if the Chiefs lose this week and the Niners lose, I think it's that time. I think if the Niners lose, I think they're proving that they can't win that big game, and Brock Purdy's a game manager and not a game winner.
I'm telling you, the whole Shanahan thing there was a stat on the game the other night where Shanahan was 0-30 in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. Being
behind by 5.
That's crazy.
Well, but the thing is he can be up 28-3 in a Super Bowl with 3 minutes left in the third and blow that shit too.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
I mean, that dude has some issues.
Yeah.
I mean, if he doesn't have the defenses he's had in San Francisco,
yeah, 100%.
They're not getting
100%. Their defense is going to make or break it for sure.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to get into the hot topic. Every single week we will have a hot topic. This week it's going to be the coaching carousel that is the NFL, because there's a lot of teams right now that they need a coach bad. We're going to go over each team, and then we'll go over kind of the candidates that I think will be a good fit or possibly at least get a look. Right now, I think the worst one, Carolina Panthers. The owner, David Tepper, I think everybody in the league hates that guy. If you guys remember, he just a couple of, games ago got mad at a fan and threw a drink on a fan. If I was worth as much money as that dude, I don't give a damn what you say to me.
It only costs like $500,000.
Yeah. I'm just going to show you my wallet and just laugh, But I just think that he's well known for involving himself too much in personnel decisions, which is going to be hard for any coach. They are in a very bad situation with their current roster. They have a rookie quarterback that whatever new coach comes in was not their choice, but they're stuck with them. Well, they're not stuck with them, but they gave up too much, so they're kind of stuck with them. Their skill positions are not very strong. When your starting running back is Chuba Hubbard and your number one receiver is Adam Thielen, you got some problems. Yep. They are in a very bad draft situation for the next couple of years. They do not have a first-round pick this year. They gave up their second-round pick next year. Tepper bought the team in 2018. Since 2018, they've already went through 6 head coaches, which any coach that goes there, he's already shown he's not going to give you much of a leash, but you need a leash when you have that many problems on a team.
Yes. No, I completely agree. The Panthers are the new Bears.
Yep.
I believe.
Yep.
The Bears should have fired Eberflus. They kept him, but they fired their offensive coordinator.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so now Fields is another year back because Fields is staying.
I hope so. I really like this.
Chicago will be, because they've kept the head coach, who is now tied to Fields.
Right.
Letting the offensive coordinator go is one thing, but you're committing to Fields by keeping your head coach.
Right.
So their number one pick in the draft is being traded.
Yeah.
It will be traded. I believe it will be traded to Washington. They'll move down. They'll pick Marvin Harrison to help Justin Fields.
I hope so.
The Carolina Panthers don't have very many options. They need to get an offense-minded coach.
Yeah.
So who I see is a possibility once they're bumped next week, is the offensive coordinator in Detroit. I think it's Ben Johnson.
Yeah.
I think he may be a good fit if he could bring whatever he has done for Jared Goff, who was an afterthought in that trade with Matt Stafford,
Right.
to the Carolina Panthers to help Bryce Young.
The only positive that the Panthers have is they have a lot of cap space. They have a lot of cap space. But will they use it correctly? I doubt it.
Yeah, one we'll see, but they will be a trash team for...
It's going to be a long time. Yeah. Next team, Tennessee Titans. So the Tennessee Titans, their owner, man, Amy Adams Strunk. The fact that she fired Mike Vrabel is bad enough. I think that was a huge mistake. Players love playing for him. But the fact that she didn't even show up to the press conference to fire him just goes to show you how bad of an owner that she is. You fire somebody that the city loves, that the players want to play for. What did he have this year? You have Tannehill, ass quarterback. You drafted Malik Willis, benched him after 2 games. Now you got Will Levis, who had one good game, and since that good game, has looked like one of the worst quarterbacks in the freaking league. You don't know if Derrick Henry is going or staying. For the sounds of it, he's leaving because he gave basically a farewell speech after their last game.
Derrick Henry's gone.
Because he does not want to, be there. Their wide receivers, Hopkins is your number one. What's he, about 50 now? He's still good, but he's
on Jared Cost as Kelsey.
Exactly the same. And on top of that, who's going to want to come to Tennessee? When you have a coach like Mike Vrabel that everybody loves and you let him go, I just think it's going to be hard to get anybody.
We just went dark.
Wow. Technical difficulties.
You're kicking us out already.
When you have a coach like that and you let him go, and you have a player like Derrick Henry who doesn't want to be there, I think it's just going to be very difficult for them to get anybody in there that is going to make a difference right away. On top of the fact, you have put so much into drafting these quarterbacks, you have to stick with one of them. I don't think you go draft another quarterback after you've just drafted quarterbacks in back-to-back years.
No, your quarterbacks right now are... Will Levis is more than likely going to be their starter next year.
He's going to have to be,
and Malik Willis will probably be his backup.
Tannehill's gone.
Tannehill's gone.
Yeah.
I don't even know if the offensive coordinator is still there. He may be gone too. I'm not 100% sure with that. Vrabel was a surprising firing. The team underwhelmed. Yeah, it was kind of a shit show from the start, but they can't get people on the field, both on offense and defensive side.
Yeah.
So it makes it really tough for the coach.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I like Vrabel. I think Vrabel's a very, very good coach.
Absolutely.
He gave people fits in the playoffs when they had to face him.
Yeah.
He's a tough-minded guy. The team works well with him.
They want to play for him.
Who they will bring in, once again, they need to find someone who can mature Will Levis.
Yeah.
You've got nothing but rookies everywhere to help.
Very, very young.
They're going to be in trouble for a few years as well. With the salary cap, if they are able to procure good talent for not overpaying for them,
Right.
it would be one thing. Or do they start sending people out for draft picks and just complete rebuild around Will Levis?
Right.
So,
all right, we'll move on to the Seahawks. Now, Seahawks are a very good team. They have a very nice roster. Their salary cap is in trouble. They're really not going to be able to bring in any big free agents. They also don't have a second-round pick this year, so they have to hit on the first pick. They lost their second-round pick because of the Leonard Williams trade. But if they don't hit on that first pick, could be a problem. The positive with that is that they got their running back. Kenneth Walker's a beast as long as he stays healthy. Wide receivers are good. Lockett's up there, but you got Jackson Smith and Jigba to take his place. DK's not going anywhere. He's a beast. They could use a better tight end for sure. But I think the main problem, and I think something that a lot of people are overlooking, there's a lot of rumors that the Seahawks are looking to sell. So when you have that looming over a coach, it's going to be hard to get somebody in there with as good of a roster as they have without the security of knowing that the team's kind of, be there. They sell and a new owner comes in, just like it always happens. When a new owner comes in, what happens? They want to clean house and do things their way.
Yep.
So you might be getting a 1-year deal, and if you don't win immediately, you're more than likely gone.
Yeah.
Especially with that roster.
Completely agree. So if with the Seahawks, if I'm not mistaken, they have like around the 17th or 18th pick in the draft.
Yeah.
Drafting J.J. McCarthy around that time may be a good idea.
Michigan quarterback.
Geno Smith had his run, got him off the couch, whatever they did with him. He's not the future.
They signed him to a pretty good extension, though.
He's not a starting quarterback in this league. He's a very good backup in this league. He will not take your team anywhere that it needs to go.
I think in that, you also got to look at their division. They're in a tough division.
Yeah.
They're in a tough division. So you got to, that right there would be a spot where I think Vrabel would be really good at.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. He may toughen him up a little bit.
Yeah.
But Vrabel would be good there. Steve Wilkes, the defensive coordinator for San Francisco.
Yep.
I think he would be a good fit there.
Yep.
They got to be able to beat the teams in their division, and right now they can't. So they got to be able to get over the top as well as deal with the outside noise of selling.
Absolutely. Falcons. Falcons are a good team with a lot of good pieces with a shitty quarterback situation. I think people thought Desmond Ridder was going to be the answer.
Desmond Ridder still can be the answer.
I don't know. I think he's had 2 years with some really good weapons, and I think he has made Drake London look a lot worse than Drake London's, I think, is a Pro Bowl, receiver. He is nice. Kyle Pitts is nice. And they have both drastically underperformed because of the quarterback situation.
I truly believe, even though that the Falcons have had multiple meetings with Bill Belichick, I don't believe he will go there because of the quarterback situation.
I think so too.
It would be really nice for Atlanta if he chose to go there and bring another offensive mind with him to help Desmond Ridder.
Yeah, I got a thought on that, which I'll get into after we go over these last couple of teams.
So I would love to see Bill Belichick there.
Okay.
Chargers likely won't happen. Chargers, it's already Harbaugh.
I think so too. Out of all the teams, I will say this though, out of all the teams, they have to win now. They got an aging roster, a huge question at running back. Eckler, probably the most underperforming player of the year.
Yep, Dick Meal a year.
And a lot of the games were lost because of bad coaching decisions.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he
should have been gone last year.
I mean, it's not a game of Madden. It cost them the playoffs against us, which I was super happy about. One of the dumbest coaching decisions I've ever seen. And it was just time and time and time again.
Look what they did against Jacksonville last year.
Yeah.
How do you blow a 30-point lead in the playoffs?
They have so many positives, though. The weather, always good. Stadium, absolutely beautiful. But you are going into an organization with the Spanos family that are notoriously cheap. They also don't know who they're bringing in as a GM. That's going to be a huge thing. Who they bring in as a GM is going to dictate who they bring in as a coach. Although, just like already hit on, I think it's already a done deal for Harbaugh.
Yeah, I think Harbaugh's there.
But the expectations are extremely high. And again, you have 1 to 2 years when you got to get it done. Yeah. And if Harbaugh has to weigh in on that, and if he comes in and he doesn't win right away, it's gonna hurt him as far as his coaching legacy and his future in the NFL. If you come in on that team with one of the top 5 quarterbacks in a lot of, say, people's minds with that roster, and you don't win right away, and I think it's going to be harder than people think that it is, Keenan Allen's really good. He's old. Palmer
2013.
Palmer can't stay healthy. Eckler might not even be there.
Mike Williams can't.
Mike Williams can't stay healthy. I mean, there is a lot of question marks, and I do think Harbaugh is a good coach, but again, it's one of those, things where I think they'll give him the money to come. As a Raiders fan, I hope he fails, but I like Harbaugh.
I don't like Harbaugh. I think he's a piece of crap too.
You want to hear the craziest stat that you'll ever heard? Getting off of this for a quick second. Craziest stat you'll ever hear. Jim Harbaugh has more career rushing yards than Bo Jackson. Is that not the most craziest stat you've ever heard in your life?
Well, I mean, it would make sense.
He has like 10 more rushing yards than Bo Jackson.
Bo Jackson didn't have very many years
at all.
And
I couldn't have
Harbaugh ran quarterback a lot.
A long time.
Yeah.
All right, last one. The Commanders.
Shit show. They do have a couple of things going for them. New ownership is a huge boost. When Dan Snyder was there, it was the biggest shit show in the league. New ownership helps a lot. Whoever comes in as coach, the expectations are not going to be as high as a lot of other teams. So it might give you a few more years than you would get, say, if you went to the Chargers. Right. So you're going to have a little bit more time. They have more cap space than any team in the league. They got a lot of extra based on their trades with for Chase Young and Montez Sweat. Mm-hmm. Their D-line is pretty solid with Darian Payne and Jonathan Allen. And I think the biggest question is, are you going to stick with Sam Howell? You going to stick with Sam Howell, or are you going to go in a different, direction? A new coach that comes in has no ties to the quarterback. Same thing that happened with Malik Willis. They drafted him to be the future. New GM came, didn't like him, drafted Levis. We're going to find out by draft day with the Sam Howell thing.
For sure.
Because my thought is that they're going to be trading with the Bears to get...
Marvin Harris?
No.
Oh, to get a quarterback?
Correct. To get Caleb Williams.
Caleb Williams, yeah.
If that's the case, then you're going to have your...
I think there might be a surprise on draft day. I don't even think Caleb Williams is clear-cut number one.
I think he is. I think he will be.
I think there's a lot of quarterbacks.
They may be downplaying it because of the fact that he came out and said what he said of, I want partial ownership.
Yeah, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard somebody
shit.
coming out.
I'm not going to play for the Bears.
Yeah.
Blah, shit.
I'll stay in college another year.
Correct.
Now, stupid.
His ass is coming out. He's going to be drafted number one. Mm-hmm. It won't be to the Bears because it'll be wherever the Bears get their best deal, which more than likely will come from the Commanders because they don't know any better.
Yeah.
But for me, I think Howell could be a very good quarterback in the league with the weapons that he has on offense.
Yeah.
I mean, he showed that he could throw for a lot of yards.
Yeah, I personally think the Commanders have a really solid team. Obviously, Terry McLaurin's really good. Even De'Ami Brown, besides Jahan Dotson, De'Ami Brown's a really good receiver that is not utilized a lot. Brian Robinson Jr. is a pretty good back.
Antonio
Gibson's like the little, goal line. He's never going to freaking, go away. I think they have a good squad. That's another team where I think Vrabel would be very, very good at.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. But I don't think they're going to retread ex-coaches in the league. I think they're going to go
new direction,
new blood.
Yeah.
And get somebody in there, I believe offensive-minded, probably not defensive-minded.
Right.
To get that team to start moving forward.
We're going to go over some of the head coaching candidates that I think are going to be highly sought after. Obviously, we already went over Bill Belichick and Jim Harbaugh. Belichick's already had 2 interviews with the Falcons. Still not sold that he's going to go there. I don't think he wants to go somewhere with another young quarterback. I think he's tired of that with Zappe and Mac Jones. I think he wants to go somewhere that has either a veteran quarterback, or if he does go to the Falcons, watch him go after Kirk Cousins hard, because that's his type of quarterback.
Because he wants a veteran
quarterback that can manage, the game. Jim Harbaugh, I think it's a foregone conclusion that he's going to the Chargers, but if he doesn't, I could see Vrabel going there or to the Chargers.
Yeah.
Ben Johnson, which you talked touched on earlier, Detroit's offensive coordinator is going to be highly sought after. I think everybody's going to be going after him.
Yeah. Once phone calls start getting in and he can take interviews.
Yeah.
Start on Monday.
I think that Bobby Slowick, the Houston's offensive coordinator, I think that the Titans are really going to be looking at him, mainly because he helped C.J. Stroud have the season that he had, and they're in the same division.
Yeah.
So he's going to know a lot about him, and that I think Houston's going to be on top of that division for a while.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to go anywhere though.
You don't think so?
No, I think he's staying.
He has a good place there. Brian Callahan, the Bengals offensive coordinator, made Jake Browning look really, really good. He's also had several head coaching interviews in the past. He's already interviewed for the Broncos, the Colts, and the Cardinals in the past. So he kind of knows what to expect. But at the same time, there's got to be a reason that he hasn't been chosen for any of those jobs, right? And he also has a really good position there. I mean, Bengals, as long as Joe Burrow's healthy, they're going to be in it.
Yeah, they just have to figure out what they're doing with T. Higgins and a couple of other pieces.
Right.
So bring them all back. Let's
Frank Smith, the Dolphins offensive coordinator. I think the Panthers. I think the Panthers are the best fit for him. He obviously he can obviously orchestrate a high-scoring offense. And I think that he'll be able to bring in some pieces to work in his system because the Panthers need some major help.
Yeah,
major help.
But does the Panthers owner want to go offensive or defensive?
Right.
I mean, you got problems on both sides.
I think because they gave up so much and skipped Stroud to get Young, I think they have to go offensive not to look stupid.
I mean, that was a big coin toss, though. I mean, it wasn't like it was Manning and Leaf back in the day. I mean, Manning was obviously the better prospect. But give Bryce Young a little bit of time. He may show you something.
They're going to have to bring in a lot, though.
So, I mean, he's not Jamarcus Russell.
No. So biggest bust ever.
That's Anthony
Richardson. Say
Richardson.
about freaking Ryan Leaf. I want to go there.
I will.
Eric Bieniemy. Obviously, he's been the Chiefs and Commanders offensive coordinator. I think Washington is looking to kind of clean house. He should have been a coach a long time ago, I think. And he's another one that I think will bring the most out of wherever he goes.
I think his stock has dropped.
This year a little bit, maybe.
I think with what took place in Washington, with their lack of consistency on offense, kind of dropped his stock a little bit. If he would have gotten the head coaching job out of Kansas City instead of moving lateral position to Washington, I think last year would have been the best time for him to get a head coaching position. He may need another couple more years in the Washington system to prove to other owners that, yes, I can do it outside of Patrick Mahomes.
Well, I will also say when he left KC, Mahomes had the worst year that he's ever had. So
but he's also had the worst weapons he's ever had. If Marquez Valdez-Scantling is your number one wide receiver because you don't know, Rashee Rice.
They've never really had great wide receivers, though. If you look at their wide receivers in the past, I mean, they've never had besides Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Besides Tyreek Hill, they've never really had like a superstar Pro Bowl receiver. You know, it was Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
And their running game, Jamal Charles and Larry Holmes. And for years, it was just running game. But I think that Bieniemy got the most that he could out of Patrick Mahomes. And I do think Patrick Mahomes took a pretty big step back this year. I think that they got into the playoffs. Like I said, a lot of it is their division. Our division is bad. We'll go through these next two pretty quick because I want to get to the next subject. Raheem Morris, former Bucs head coach, Falcons interim head coach, and the Rams defensive coordinator when they won the Super Bowl. I think he's going to get a look by a lot of teams just because of his resume.
Yeah, no, I agree too. I think Raheem Morris, the DC from the Rams. I think Steve Wilkes, the DC.
Steve Wilkes, yep, absolutely.
I think Dan Quinn, even though he is, a huge piece of crap, the DC in Dallas.
I think he's going to Seattle. I think he'll
get some looks too, but
yeah.
It all depends on what you have on the offensive side.
Yeah.
I mean, if your defense needs help and you need the defensive guy to come in and do something, that's one thing. But when you put defensive coordinators into head coaching positions,
Right.
offense normally takes a hit.
Right.
And it all depends on what you have on offense, if it can take that hit or not.
Right.
So,
All right, so we might have to skip this next one because I do want to get into the hobby. I was going to bring up the Sacramento Kings and what's going on with them, but we'll probably save that for the next episode.
bet the over tonight.
Facts. But every week, we are going to have something that I don't think any other podcast has. Tim and I are both really big into the sports card hobby. If you guys do not already follow me on YouTube, check me out, Sactown, Packhound. I do reviews of every product that comes out except for the crazy ones like Flawless. Unless one of you want to donate a box, I will gladly review it. But we're always going to have a 10-minute section just talking about the hobby. The upcoming releases. For those of you that are familiar with the hobby, if you're not, I will get into it. It's a huge industry and it's only growing. For the NFL, we have Phoenix, Impeccable, Zenith, Rookies and Stars, Spectra, and Immaculate coming out soon. I know me and you were in the same boat. We both mixed out on Phoenix first off the line. We're being greedy, trying to wait for it to drop one more time. I didn't think it was going to sell out that fast.
No, I didn't either.
The floor had a $250 floor. I thought it was going to get down to like $350.
Yeah, I was looking at about $375 to buy the first off the
Yep. I was waiting one more drop.
And it was at $425, and I had them in queue.
Yep.
And I hit the refresh button, and everybody gone.
Yep.
Son of a...
I love Phoenix. I think it's a super slept on product. It hasn't resold great in the past.
But it's a fun rip.
It's a fun rip. I think you get a lot for your money. It's one of the few mid-level products you're going to get for between $375 and $425 where it's actually worth your money.
Yeah.
I think there's so many products out now where it's just a major ripoff. NBA releases coming out soon are Immaculate, Donruss, Flawless, Prism, Court Kings, and Origins. What I'm going to say about the NBA is the same thing about the NFL. The entire product right now is being based off of one player, and it's overpriced as hell because of one player. In NFL, it's CJ Stroud, only CJ Stroud, and you can't even get his auto. NBA, it's Wembanyama, only Wembanyama, and you can't get his auto.
Correct.
It's ridiculous. Like, I love Immaculate. It's one of my favorite products. First off the line comes out tomorrow at $3,250. $3,250 a box.
That's sad.
That means that Hobby is going to come out for probably $2,500.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not even, and you get what, 8 cards or something like that?
And you don't pull him, and you don't.
You're losing. You have a like 99% chance of losing your money. The one after that that's coming out is Donruss, another product that I don't like. Donruss. It's a paper product. You get like 400 cards in a box with one auto, and
I will go the cheap route and buy mega boxes
absolutely
to try to find Wembanyama.
Absolutely.
And then grade them.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything Wembanyama grade.
Yep.
Even his base cards are going raw $40-$50.
Yep.
It's crazy.
I mean, Prism basketball blasters have already hit shelves at Walmart and Target. You won't see them in California.
Right.
Because we don't sell shit in California.
Yep.
You have to get them on the website, and once they're gone, they're gone. I mean, it's not like we can go to Texas Walmart and get them off the shelf every day.
Right.
So, but yeah, I got a bunch of those coming. They should be here Wednesday.
Nice.
See and then they got numbered cards. There's 3 series of numbers.
Absolutely.
So if you can pull a Wembanyama numbered card out of a blaster box,
Yep.
you made $1,000.
You made it. Yep. Whereas in hobby boxes, 9 out of 10 times you're going to be losing your money.
Correct.
Which is all I buy because I'm dumb.
And it's going to be way overpriced.
Way overpriced. The only product coming out for Panini in baseball is Flawless, and it's one of my favorite products. However, it's drastically overpriced this year. Last year, hobby boxes were around $1,400. This year, first off the line was out in, I believe, 4-5 days, $3,500 for a product that's not licensed.
See, unlicensed product like that should never be that.
No.
Be that.
I don't care if it's Flawless. It's not licensed.
And then Panini still has the issue of memorabilia not being from any specific game or event.
Oh my God, that makes me so crazy.
Which is another bunch of bullshit, because you can just go get a shirt off the rack, cut that son of a bitch up, and slapping
So,
on elbow cards. Here you go.
Player held it like this. It. All right. So the best recent releases, I'm going to go with 2. Prism NFL, which I thought was completely overpriced, but it's the most sought after product in the market. It resells higher than almost anything except Flawless or National Treasures. And the base stars, Anthony Richardson, but more so CJ Stroud, just a base Prism CJ Stroud is going to hit you $400.
The actual refractor prism, silver refractor.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to buy 6 mega boxes from Target. Delivered 4 days ago.
Right.
I pulled 2 silver
That's
CJ
awesome.
Strouds.
That's awesome.
So
yeah, I broke 5 hobby boxes and pulled none.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
The price point at $1,000 now, I think it's around $1,000 now for a box. You're going to lose your money 99 out of 100.
Well, I think what's really dumb is that they started off at like 750. The first couple of days, the black CJ Stroud Finite got hit, and then they went up in price.
Correct.
The biggest card in the product gets hit, and it still goes up in price.
Yeah.
And it's because of breakers.
Yep.
And I don't blame breakers. You guys have a niche in the industry that is necessary, but it's killing the hobby for young collectors because Panini can price the products however they want, and they're going to sell it. When you have a product like Flawless that comes out at $10,000, $12,000, and it sells out in 15 minutes, that's ridiculous.
2017, 2018, Flawless was $2,000 a briefcase.
Yep.
What the fuck happened?
COVID and breakers. And like I said, I don't blame breakers because you guys are a business. You guys are smart. I participate in a lot of breaks. I will say right now, I participate in NorCal, True Sports Cards, Hobby House, and We the Hobby. The Hobby House, you guys give me shout outs all the time. I appreciate you guys so much. And I don't blame you guys. You guys are important in the industry. I just hate the fact that Panini does what it does.
Yeah.
Because they're using breakers to just, like I said, price it however you want. But it's making it to where when we were young, and it's never, you know what I'm saying, going to be like this because it was, you know what I'm saying, junk wax. But you could go get a box of Stadium Club for $30.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's if you're balling. You know what I'm saying? And it's just nowadays you can't find a product worth a damn under $400 or $500. And the good products, $1,000 to fucking $10,000. It's crazy.
Yeah. You price the regular consumer out.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And with the whole breaker thing, somebody has got to find the guy at Panini who keeps shipping all the good shit to Backyard Breaks.
Yeah.
And I'll call it out right now. Someone is doing some illegal shit somewhere.
Well, I mean,
to get them
totally agree.
Case or
and not just that. I will say that you're going to hit a lot more case hits when you rip the amount of product that they rip. However, when you watch them, I never participate in their breaks. Number one, they've been caught too many times not giving the product that is hit out, or they'll get a box and they just had one like 2 weeks ago. It said, "Attention, kaboom," in this box. And they open it up with a smiley face, and they open it up, and there's a kaboom in there.
Oh.
It's like, when you have stuff like that, and you have dumbasses like myself that go out and spend $100,000 a year on freaking hobby box after hobby box after hobby box, and I've never hit a kaboom. I've never hit a color blast out of Prism. I mean, it's just, it's crazy, and it's frustrating.
Yeah, I've hit one downtown, which I showed you.
Yeah.
It was the Trevor Lawrence Gold downtown out of one box of Donruss that I bought off Panini's website.
Before we get into the worst, I will say my other favorite recent release is National Treasures Baseball, although it is not licensed. I do like how they use the patches. They always give you beautiful patches in there. It's a higher end product, but because it's not licensed, it's about $400. And that's one of the few products where almost every time I get a box, I at least make my money back, if not make some money.
Yeah.
Their patches are really nice. They grade pretty well. So I'm very happy with the National Treasures Baseball.
There's been a lot of baseball releases that I've been able to get like one hobby box here or there.
Yeah.
And I do make my money back off of hobby box baseball.
Right.
For whatever the reason, either Donruss Elite.
Yeah.
Or what was the last one I did?
There was Select, a lot of Titus Bowman Chrome I really like.
I somehow they hold their value
Right.
With the price point that they're selling them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, Topps, I think, is a lot better than Panini at this.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm glad that Panini's going away and Fanatics is taking over.
Absolutely.
I just hope that the price points get back to where it's consumed.
Affordable. And I understand Flawless is going to be higher. I mean, their cards sell for such a ridiculous amount of money. As somebody who does a lot of card shows and all that, I understand it's never going to go back to the price that it was.
No.
But to price 10 cards at $12,000 to $15,000 and you have about a 99% chance of losing your money is asinine and it's criminal.
Yeah. And only the rich can do this.
The worst recent releases, I'm going to name 3 right off the bat. Number 1, hands down, Absolute. I think it's the worst product that has come out. Number 2, Panini 1-in-1 NBA. And number 3, Prism No Huddle. Panini 1-in-1 NBA to price a box at $900 and only getting 2 cards, and one of them's a parallel. Unless you hit a downtown or what's the other freaking big one? Moments in Time, or whatever it is, you're screwed.
Yeah, no.
I saw about 50 boxes. That's one product I didn't even buy a box because I saw about 50 boxes open. I didn't see one person make any money on their boxes.
No, you won't.
They're not even fun to open.
And there's no. If I'm not mistaken, with Panini 1-on-1, I don't think there's an actual case hit. Yes, you can get downtowns, but I don't think
they're not guaranteed
in
a case.
Yeah, because there's only 24 cards in a case. Or no, with 1-on-1, there's what, 16 boxes in a case?
I want to know because I'm never going to freaking buy one.
But literally, there's 24 to 32 cards, and you're not going to pull one.
Prism No Huddle. I hate when products freaking do this. It's just Prism with one freaking prism that you can't get in a hobby box. You get the disco prisms. That's it. I bought one box. It's $500. You get half the amount of cards, and you get one auto. You know what my one auto was? 250 points. Excuse my language.
I've seen a lot of fun.
Oh my God. That makes me, that right there is criminal.
My one auto that I got out of the box, but I bought it for $400 on the website when it was, and the 2 minutes I was allowed to get one,
right?
Because it sold out in that much time, which is beyond me. Roshan Johnson.
Oh my God. Bears back
Get
up.
the fuck out of here.
Ridiculous. And I think, like I said, the number one worst product, and it's going crazy right now because of one freaking insert, is Absolute. I thought that product, absolute shit. I thought that product was going to come out at around $400. When I saw that it was mid 700s, I lost my mind. The whole product is based off of the Kaboom, which last year you were guaranteed to get one in a case. This year, you're not even guaranteed. Nope. You might get a glass or an explosive, but on top of everything else, the quality of the cards is shit.
Oh, it is.
Every card, because I opened 4 boxes.
It's all
it's all sticker autos.
And a lot of the sticker autos, which we discussed before this podcast started, are not even cards from Absolute. They're cards from other sets that they've thrown in on a sticker dump to bulk up the stuff that they can sell. Absolute bullshit product. And what Panini did with that is absolutely criminal.
I could not believe there was a mid-7 for 15 cards. And it's not like they resell like Flawless.
5 of them are base cards. There's only one insert, and
they don't even look good.
No.
The base cards are ugly.
The introduction inserts
are
stupid pictures that they took at the NFL.
Rookie freaking players, whatever it is. It's so ridiculous.
Some dude's eating a chicken leg. Who gives a shit?
It's so stupid, man. And then have the nerve to put that as a freaking parallel too. 1 out of 100.
Sweet, I got 1 out of 100 chicken legs.
It's so ridiculous.
Get the fuck out of here.
So ridiculous. Oh, guys, that's our freaking hour. It went by faster than I expected. I thank you guys for tuning in. Please don't forget to send us your questions or topics that you would like discussed to questions@mancavesportspodcast.com. You can also DM me on Sactown Packhound. We definitely want to hear what you guys got to say. Any outgoing words, Mr. Hill?
No, just get some questions. I'd love to chat with whoever's out there listening, and you can tell me I'm full of shit. You can tell Terry he's full of shit.
No, I'm full of shit.
And let's get this thing rolling. Let's have some fun.
Absolutely. Appreciate you guys tuning in. And until next week, get out of my house. Let's go.
Peace.